Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome back to another energy reading for the week of March 22nd, 2021. So before I get into the actual reading, I do have some announcements. So that's always fun to announce things. So this week I launched my new podcast, total new platform, all on the same platforms, just a total new show, more aligned with what my brand is. So my brand is The Awakening Journey, and that is what the podcast is. So I already have the first 3 episodes are available to listen to. So I would love for you guys to check that out. I have been posting it in the Facebook group, but if you are watching this on YouTube, you can always go to Apple Podcasts or Google or Anchor and look for the Awakening Journey podcast, and you will find me. So yeah, what I'm planning to do is just kind of launching a new show every couple of weeks, just whatever insights come through. I find sometimes when I'm in between energy readings, I kind of get more messages that need to be shared. So those are what I'm sharing on the podcast. I find I can sort out my thoughts a lot more easier when I'm reading it instead of just kind of going freeform like now. Well, I do have my notes, I'm not gonna lie. Because I do have shiny object syndrome, and I tend to fall off track of my thoughts, right? So yeah, I find that podcasts are a really great way to get the message and get really in depth. Like, I'm able to really connect to that, and I love sharing that with you guys. So yeah, I'm just so excited to share that with you guys, and it's going to be kind of more aligned with my message, with what I'm doing, with where my path is taking me. So that's really exciting. And another thing too, to let you guys know that I am still booking consultations for my 4-month Awakening Coaching series. So for those of you that aren't too familiar with what that is, it's spiritual life coaching for empaths and healers. So we go into life coaching, but it's a whole nother level. And what I've been finding is that with coaching, with this type of coaching that I do, the spiritual life coaching, the more that you heal from your past, the more you're able to kind of unfold those layers of all the filters that you've been living through your life through, the more you're able to rise up and rise above things in your life a lot more easier. You're able to see things from a higher perspective. And then you're able to shed the layers that have been weighing you down. And as an empath, and I know very closely with that, is being an empath, we have lots of problems, but with boundaries, with soaking up other people's emotions, energies, and things like that. So I teach you how to clear that, shield it, heal it, and move above it, right? So I'm really excited to be launching that. So it is a 4-month series that I do coach, and if you're interested, message me. So yeah, so today's topic is interesting because I don't usually do topics. I kind of go on the fly, but when I tuned into the energy this week, there was a message, like a clear, distinct message that came through. So I've never really talked about this myself on any of these lives or any of the recordings that I've done. It's something that I personally have been kind of looking into and experimenting with and playing around with and getting more familiar with. And the guides are like, hey, we got to start talking about this. So today's topic for our energy reading, something, just food for thought. We're not going to dive too deep into it, but we are going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about OBEs, which is out-of-body experiences, right? You think of it, you're like, oh my gosh, you only think of like near-death experiences sometimes, right? But a lot of people, we're always in and out of our body all the time. But here, you know what? I'm going to start with this. What we need to know to begin with is that we are so much more than just our physical body and our 5 senses. That's interesting because if you think about it, you think about I or me, right? But who is thinking that I perspective? Who's looking in at that, right? There's your mechanics, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your physical body, right? But our consciousness goes way past that. And on the topic of out-of-body experiences, there's astral traveling, there's all of these things that kind of come into play, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. So, for example, when you are just sitting there daydreaming in the middle of the day, you're really bored, you got time to kill, you kind of just zone out and you're lost in this whole other world, right? You have really, your consciousness, a fragment of that has left your body. You are astral traveling. That is astral traveling. And it's interesting because there's some people who teach you how to astral project and astral travel, and it's such an uncommon topic. Nobody really talks about it, so it's so taboo almost, and people are scared of it because they don't know much about it. So our guides are like, okay, so we spend a lot of time playing around in our body, right? Getting familiar with what it's like to feel, to sense, to smell, to touch, to taste, all of that, right? And we also got really familiar with what it's like to feel our emotions and heal our emotions, right? You get into that place where you have to feel it to heal it. But there's a whole nother level, and the guides and our angels are saying, okay, it's time to take it a step up. It's time to start thinking outside of the box, thinking out of the normal, whatever that normal is to you. Now, I'm just looking at my notes to see, make sure I don't miss anything. But a lot of the times people get paralyzed with fear because they think if I leave my body, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get stuck. I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna not be able to get back. But that's not the case at all. All it is visualization. And we're doing it day after day and night after night, especially when we're dreaming, right? When our soul, our consciousness never sleeps. Never. It doesn't have a need for it. But our physical body needs to sleep to recharge its battery, right? So while our physical body is sleeping, our consciousness, our soul, it has a silver cord. It is tethered to our body. So we're not, as long as that silver cord is connected, we're going to be alive, okay? So when we're dreaming and we go off to these far off lands and places and universes and galaxies and all these different things and different alternate parallel universes, and we visit, like literally, that's what we're doing when we're sleeping. It's crazy. And you think nothing of it because you're like, oh, that was a crazy dream. Was it just a dream? What is the difference between dream reality and our waking reality? We are all creators of it. In our dreams, we don't have as much control because we don't realize that we have that control to do and say and act as whatever we need, right? And a lot of the times, like scientists and psychologists and things like that will say that, it's your brain sorting out the day's works and activities and energies and things like that, which is true. But our consciousness, our souls, they go off and visit far off lands and go and visit home, wherever that home is, whatever galaxy or planet, or if you go back to source, that to recharge, you can do that. You can go to the spirit realm and go to the temple of wisdom, or you can go to the temple of healing, or you can go to the school, to the Akashic records, right? We can do this in our consciousness, in our waking lives and in our sleep, right? So it's so common, but we don't even realize it. It's not even the thing that we talk about, right? So I am bringing this to your awareness. I'm bringing this up into your consciousness, to your waking consciousness, not just your subconscious mind working on in the background, right? Like there's a lot more to it. And it is time for you to remember. That's it. And a good example of this is babies. Infants, right? When they're born into the body, into the physical plane, into earth, they go back and forth between the spirit realm. They go and visit with the council, and make sure, you know, they have their plans set for life, and they got to work out their karmic patterns and finish off different relationships or close patterns, you know, and things like that. So they are that's why babies sleep so much, right? They're growing, right? The scientists will say, well, babies sleep so much because they grow so quickly, so their body's very tired. Absolutely true. But there's also so much more to what's going on when a baby sleeps. And that's just it. That's why they're so pure. They're so close to that other side of the veil that they bring that back with them when they awake. And it's so beautiful. And that's why babies are so healing. And they're almost like therapy. Like when you go and hold a baby, you feel that energy that they just brought back from the other side, right? You don't realize that it's the energy that they brought back from the other side that you're feeling. You just feel the baby and you're like, oh, they're just so much fun, right? But I'm here to remind you, because I say remind you, because this is something that you came into this life knowing. But as soon as we came into waking consciousness, we put the veil on and we forgot, right? Now it is time to remember everything that we forgot coming into this life. Like when we're born amnesiaed. We're amnesiaed, right? So we forget everything, and that's a part of the game. It's a part of the learning process, remember, how quickly can you remember, right? Every lifetime you remember at different phases, or it may take you your whole entire life to remember all of these truths and all of these universal teachings and things like that. But it's exciting because when I tuned into the energy, I was like, okay, so what do we need to work on this week? You know, like, and they're like, no, you're going to talk about something that you don't ever talk about. Yeah. So, it's just kind of exploring it, being curious, allowing yourself to kind of get excited about something new, you know? And what I can tell you, and from personal experience, is that if you do consciously, on purpose, go and astral project, say, into the other room, you're meditating, you get into this state, you're totally relaxed, and you're like, I'm going to venture out, and I'm going to use my visualization, and I'm going to go out the door, into the hallway, down to the kitchen, and you can visualize this, right? But you're actually leaving your body at that moment too. When you're visualizing all of this stuff, your soul is going down the hallway into the kitchen, into the living room, or into the bedroom, or wherever you're going, right? You can visualize this. You are actually doing that. You can try to tell yourself that that's just in my imagination. I'm just making this up. It's not real, but it is. And I'm here to remind you of it. And if on a conscious level, you're like, nope, she's crazy, I don't know what you're talking about, I totally disagree. Well, on a subconscious level, on a soul fragment level, you know that this is true. You have a deep resonance with it, whether you know it or not, right? Not on a conscious level, but chances are, if you're here in this group, you're pretty open to this information, right? So I'm fairly confident that this is going to be received with love and understanding and excitement and curiosity and all of that fun stuff. So with OBEs, so out-of-body experiences, it's just another way really to gather information, because we're here to learn, grow, evolve as humans, as a species, as a planet, as a soul conscious level, right? So when you're going out of your body, you're experiencing your physical body. At the same time, you are also experiencing what it's like to be attached to a body and visit other planes of existence, other dimensions, or other parallel universes, right? Other realities. So this, we can go dive into any one of the rabbit holes. Maybe on some podcast, I'll explain all of this in a deeper level too. But I just wanted to kind of just plant the seed and see where it takes you. See where your curiosity, open that part of your mind up enough that it allows you to have fun with it and be like, what can I do? What else is possible? Because everything is possible. I want you to know that, right? So definitely to gather more information. It's also to help us along our life path as well. These experiences that we have, these astral projection and lucid dreaming and visualizations and things like that, they're to also help us evolve and grow and teach us, show us what we need to do next, right? Sometimes you feel stuck and lost and you're not too sure where your life is going or what you should do or what is the right thing to do. Well, there is no such thing as right. There's either just experience or a good experience or a bad experience. I could say it's positive, negative. It's just how it makes it, how you feel, how you experience it in your body, right? So there's no right path, because every path is still going to take you exactly where you need to go. It's just what kind of experience do you want from it, right? So this is just another tool that you can use to enhance that experience that we're having on life as a human in our human bodies, right? So yeah, and it's also another way to gain a higher perspective, because so often we're so stuck in our bodies, we can't see things in another, it's like so limited being from this perspective, because we only can operate when we're operating from our mechanical brain, our machine, the engine that runs our physical body. If we're only using that part of our brain, we're very limited, because we're only going off of what we've learned up until this point in this life, right? What has been taught to us, what has been programmed to us. But you have access to a whole nother level. This consciousness, this higher perspective is available to you at all times. It's just a matter of consciously going there and finding out what is it like, right? So looking at your life as a higher perspective, you can connect to your higher self and learn what your life looks like from that higher perspective. That again is another out-of-body experience, right? So if you are curious about out-of-body experiences or astral projection or just anything like that, there's tons of books and meditations and podcasts and things like that. So I teach that. I go through all this kind of stuff in the 4-month awakening coaching series as well. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of put that out there and pique that curiosity of yours and see where it takes you. See what can come from it. That's the whole point, right? Okay, so I wanted to get into the cards, just ask a couple questions for guidance for energy of this week. I know it was like a loaded topic there, so I don't know if you're still with me or not, but I'm sure that there's some of you out there that's really curious about it, that's just afraid to kind of explore it. And I'm here to tell you that it is completely safe to explore. The biggest thing is to, shield yourself. You can cloak yourself with pure white light whenever you're doing any kind of astral projection or out-of-body experience. You always want to start by grounding your energy, by connecting your energy to the earth, right? And then always surrounding yourself with white light. If you do that, then nothing can touch you. Nothing negative can touch you, right? So just being aware of that will really, really help you along this journey, right? So, okay. So since this is the topic, since this is where we're going with everything, all the information today, I wanted to ask the cards. So I wanted to kind of touch on that, get some validation from the cards of what guidance can we actually get from an outer body experience, right? So what is the guidance? Why this, why now, right? Like, why do we need to know about outer body experiences now, right? Why is that coming up? So I already had a card that popped out. I'm going to grab 3 from here and see what comes out. Okay. Okay. So the first card that came out was Karmic Relationships. So this one comes up a lot, I find, when I'm really tuning into somebody's energy or somebody's experiences, like what a client of mine that we're working through something that happens in their life that keeps coming up, right? And they don't understand why. A lot of the times these can be solved, karmic relationships can be solved, but just by putting yourself in that other person's perspective, right? Again, that is an out-of-body experience. You're going out of your own body and you're putting yourself in their shoes, right? Put yourself in their shoes, walk a mile in their shoes, right? That's an out-of-body experience, whether we know it or not, right? These are just things that we do all the time. We don't even realize that we're doing what we're actually doing, right? So it's safe. It's so freaking safe. So anyway, Karmic relationships. So this one's come up before, I know, and it's all about polarity. It's all about soul growth. It's about conflict, right? So we come into this life with karmic relationships that we have to work through. So we choose these relationships before we come in, and we see how it worked out in the past, and we're like, okay, well, let's try it a different way. Like, it could have been that you guys were friends with this one particular person. So you and this person were friends in a past life and it didn't work out. So this time you wanted to try out being sisters, right? To see if you could get through your differences and work through your karmic ties, right? So this lifetime you come in as sisters, but you still have that kind of like head-butting relationship, right? And you're having hard times and you don't know why. It's just naturally always been that way. And you don't think twice about it because it's always been that way. So, but that's the thing, is that these karmic relationships can be seen from a different perspective when you go out of body and you go into the other person's vision and perspective and see things from their eyes, from their views, from their emotions, from their life, right? And then it gives you a whole new perspective on why the relationship has been the way it is, right? It's only when you open yourself up to allowing yourself to see things honestly from that other person's perspective and then choose to do something different than you've ever done before. That itself is going to break the karma. You're going to step off the hamster wheel, you're going to get off of that train, and you're going to finally be free. And you're going to be able to live your life in a better relationship with that person when you're finally willing to see it from their point of view, right? And understand why things have happened the way they have. The next card that came out was wait. So wait. Interesting. It says, it's not time yet. Things are being woven, right? So right now is the time of the Great Awakening. Right now, we're just all waking up to remembering that we're more than just this physical body, that we are more than just our memories, our experiences in this lifetime. We have multiple thousands of lifetimes, either here on Earth or in different galaxies or different planets or wherever your experiences took you, right? The only thing is that we like to rush ahead. We want to be somewhere where we're not. And this card is reminding us that we are preparing for something bigger right now. We are preparing for our new Earth, for this new way of living and being and breathing and experiencing life, right? So for the past couple hundred thousands of years, Earth has been a really hard place to live. And that's shifting and changing right now. And in our lifetime, we are going to see, we have already started seeing a massive shift, especially when COVID began, right? But it's been happening since before that too. It's just, it wasn't so dramatic, right? So this right now, we are being prepped. We are getting prepared for this new world. But we need to shed everything that we've been carrying with us up until this point. And the card is saying wait, because I know we just want to get there. We want to get to that utopian life, that place of this paradise on earth, right? This is something that has been told us and taught us in Bible stories, in stories that we share from generation to generation, you know, and the promise is coming, and we just need to now wake up to it, right? And that's why out-of-body experiences came up as a topic today, because they want you to know, our guides want us to know that there is so much more for you and available to you. And as soon as you're willing to harness that, you're going to have access to all of that and more. And every single one of you has that ability. That is for sure. We were born with it, right? So the last card that came out is Starkeeper. Now, we are all star keepers. We all have this star energy that we carry with us. These light workers, star seeds, way showers, all of us who are here to help ascension on the ascension path, right? It says, seed the light by staying grounded. So you will raise your own consciousness to higher levels when you are grounded in your body. But then it'll give you the ability to then experience other worlds being in this world, right? And that's the fun thing about the topic of the day is experiencing life in a different form now. We've been physical for a very long time, and our bodies are now filling more and more with light. The more and more we shed our old stories, old beliefs, old ways of doing things, the more our bodies are able to fill with light and love and just happiness and joy and all that pure stuff, right? This is not just folklore. This is real. This is happening right now. And that's why I created this group. At the beginning, to be honest, I had no idea that this is where my journey was taking me. Did not know, did not realize that. All I knew is that I was getting pulled, I was getting pushed, and by my desires, by my urges, by my, I just want to do this something so much, right? So I created Inner Buddha. And then I started getting more and more in tune with, the people that I work with who are empaths, just like me. And I'm like, I'm here to wake you guys up. I'm here to be that leading example, saying these things that I'm talking about, these experiences are possible, and they will also help you along your way and give you more information, more access to more knowledge and experiences than you could ever imagine possible. It's just about opening up to that, right? Okay, so I wanted to also ask the guides, our guides, what is it that we can, okay, so how can we use this experience to enhance our lives now? That's my question. How can we use this experience to enhance our lives now? And I pulled out my sacred geometry deck for the activations because I feel like there's something in our energy field that we need to activate that's going to help us go through this, right? So, okay. Whew. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so how can this enhance us? By activating the energy frequency of realization. Realizations. This is a new realization right now that we're talking about, right? This topic of the day. Realizations is coming, those aha moments, those, oh, that makes sense. That's why that's happened. Or, it just kind of puts you in that place, that energy of, okay, like open to new things and new experiences and looking at things in a different way, right? Realization. So it says the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. So I'm going to ask you this. What do you see is your highest expression in this world? How can you express yourself at your highest level? What does that even look like? Because that's what we need to start activating in our minds, in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our energy fields, right? That feeling of realization, it opens you up to so much more possibilities. And that is what really creates worlds. It literally creates worlds, that feeling of realization. So I'm going to go into the book. This is 37. Because I feel like there's something more here. So 37. Okay, it says realizations happen on many different levels. Internally, we realize something when we become aware that something, as a matter of fact, right? Something just happens. You're like, okay, as a matter of fact, that's what the outcome was, right? So, but externally, we realize something when we achieve or fulfill a dream or desire. So externally, you see that physical, tangible outcome of this realization that you had, right? On a spiritual level, we refer to self-realization when we are able to unite body, mind, spirit, or soul, and step into our fullest, most authentic expression of who we are. The center of this activation draws us into the infinite inward journey throughout the layers of awareness. So there's many layers that we work through here. So the green in the card, so it has the green in there. It says, the green indicates the presence of the heart. Sorry, the green indicates the presence of the heart, which provides the wisdom and stability needed on this frequently trippy path. Very trippy, right? And the topic today is very trippy, absolutely. The rich blue coloring of the outer circle represents the ability and desire to express ourselves and to be realized in the outer world. So it's in the outer circle, and that's our outer world, right? Our out-of-body experience. The water represents the emotional realm, the heart's guidance system, and the orange and the yellow stand for the expression, creativity, and self-awareness. Very beautiful. Okay. You know what? It also has a try this. So let's go into that. It says, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. So go ahead, get into that little comfy zone, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. And it asks, do you realize the magnificence of who you are? Of the scale of what you can create while you are here in body? This realization or belief that you are an expression of the creative source that makes you a powerful manifester. What is it that you want to accomplish? And you can open your eyes. So really, just kind of think about that for this week. Kind of tune into, what do you want out of this life? It's not what you should do, it's what do you want? That's the better question, right? What do you want? Tune into that part of you that holds the realization and allow it to grow like a flower, emerge, and see what happens. That is crazy and trippy. Okay, so I'm gonna tune in. I just got one last card that I'm gonna pull, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm just gonna ask for the animal guidance of the week, because I love our animal cards, our animal totems. They always have really good messages. So we're gonna tune into this week, and we're gonna see what comes out. Whew. And again, if this information is resonating with you, if any part of you feels like this is really truth, and that you know, you're like, oh my God, like I need to try this, and or I have an experience. If any of you, that's an even better one. If any of you have an outer body experience or near-death experience or anything like that that you would love to share, I would love to hear that. And perhaps maybe if you would like, I can also have you on the podcast to talk a little bit more about that. So I would highly encourage you to step forward and let me know if that's something you're interested in. So our card that popped out today is Dolphin. Dolphins. Now, dolphins are very spiritual beings. They are the ones who actually take care of the earth. They are singing their song to attune earth to its different frequencies, which is really cool. So here, I just need to pull up the book and see what it says about the dolphin. Dog, donkey. Okay, dolphin. I got there eventually. Okay. The guidance of the dolphin. The wisdom of the dolphin card reminds you that you are special, highly evolved being. Throughout your long soul journey, you may not have been faultless. No one has, but that's the past. And now you are a light bearer, carrying sacred geometry keys and codes from other universes to dance and play. That's how you let them out. Dance and play. Get in that energy, right? Do whatever makes your heart happy. That's what the card says. Your task is to lighten up and be joyful and gracious and spread your wisdom. Whatever it is that you hold within yourself, that is your message to share with the world. in any which way you feel that you are most connected to. So it says, bring the golden ray of Christ and you will automatically heal others. Also know that no one is perfect. So keep your heart open and with understanding and forgiveness. That is our dolphin, the message. I feel like we've had this one before. But it's interesting because things keep coming up because these are the messages that need to be worked on, that need to be focused, right? So it says, live joyfully in the present. So that is our mantra for this week, is to live joyfully. Dance, play, sing, move your body, get into that place where you just feel like your complete soul expression is there, right? Get into that place. That's what this encouragement is. So that is it for me today. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And again, if you are interested in the 4-month Awakening Coaching Series, definitely message me, reach out to me and let me know. I'd be more than happy to have a consultation with you and let you know more about that. So I send you so much love and so much light, and I will see you again very, very soon. Take care.